It's not a lot of times here on the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast where I get to bring on lovely guests and contributors and other personalities on the podcast. We usually separate out with the Yon Club Audio Moment of the Week, where we play the clips from the Nimrods, from the Dirt Sheets, talking a bunch of bullshit that they don't know what they're talking about. I either go to Raw or SmackDown at this point, but since we're coming off the heels of NXT TakeOver Brooklyn and SummerSlam, I wanted to do something different, a little something special here, because I have a good friend of mine. Not only is he a friend, but I consider him a good brother. He's a longtime friend of mine. He was on this particular podcast when I used to do it weekly on YouTube. And you can follow him on Twitter at SE Starks, formerly Ronnie Starks, or Starks Wrestling at Twitter, or wherever his Twitter handle is going to be in fucking December at this point. But here he is, the good brother. His name's Ronnie Starks. He's an independent wrestler, and he's a good brother, and he's going to be starting his own YouTube channel pretty soon. And he's joining us right here on the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. Ronnie, what's going on, you bastard?
Man, now that you mentioned about my Twitter handle changing all the time, I'm changing it today. Fuck you.
Hey, trust me, I fell into that trap too when I was switching websites from WrestleZone and the Twitter Road, so I know about changing my Twitter handles too. Oh, shit.
But, yeah, dude, nothing much with me, man. Jeez. There's nothing going on, which is funny because I'm like, well, you know what they say, no news is good news, man. You know, and you're just keep pushing on and doing your thing and other punny, stupid shit I can say. Yeah, woo.
I would like to warn everybody, this is going to be a little non-PC conversation as usual here on the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast. There's vulgar language that will be expressed during this piece of audio pleasure. And I hope you guys enjoy it. If not, you can fade away and classify yourselves as obsolete. All right.
Delete you from the conversation. Delete.
Oh, man. Ronnie, before we get into all the cool stuff about SummerSlam in Brooklyn, and we have some Nimrods that we got to rip as well, tell everybody a little bit about yourself if this is the first time people are checking you out.
Like you said, my name is Ronnie Starks. For 9 years, I did independent wrestling shows. Actually, this Sunday, I'm going to be a part of the Black Diamond Wrestling Anniversary Show. And that's the first time I've been down there in, 2 years since I, quit for a little bit. It should be fun. I'm excited about it. I'm going to kick some kid's ass. It's going to be a good time. He deserves it. He's a little jerk. Yeah, dude. And other than that, I'll talk about at the end of the show, in October, I'm starting a YouTube channel, and we're going to be doing podcasts and stuff, and it's going to be a good time. But other than that, I am a laid-back son of a gun. I'm a good time, and I like long walks on the beach. And ladies, I'm single, but no fat chicks. Ladies, I'm single.
And you're also a foul-mouthed breathing bastard. That's...
That's yeah. The F word is part of my daily vocabulary every 5 seconds. So.
Fuck you. Oh, man. It's been a while since me and Ronnie actually done a podcast there, so there's going to be a lot of laughing and tomfoolery that's going to be on this podcast. But for those who are checking us out live, make sure to send any questions or comments you had about SummerSlam or NXT TakeOver Brooklyn in the comment section. Just be respectful. If you're going to come at me and try to throw some jazz my way or Ronnie's way, we have no problem calling you guys out. I'll just throw that out there.
Will call them out.
That's not a problem. Best believe that. Really quick, I wanted to get to this because, you know, we've been doing podcasts together for about a year and a half. I think somewhere around there, almost 2 years. And, you know, the relationship between a wrestler and somebody for the media is kind of skewed in today's wrestling, because I know there's a lot of wrestlers out there that go out to like Dave Meltzer and Alvarez or whatever to leak out information about their careers and stuff and all this other bullshit. But I can understand the point where a lot of wrestlers don't like media people like myself or whatever. I'm not part of that dirt sheet culture, but I think you get what I'm saying between the relationship between a wrestler and then somebody like me who covers this for a living.
Well, I'm guilty of giving you and Adam and Derek and Matt a lot of shit when I first started doing podcasts, because if you would go back and you would look at like all the early stuff, you could tell I was feeling uncomfortable when you guys were doing stuff, and I would just blatantly like just freaking rip into you guys. And like as time progressed and as the more I got comfortable about it, like I completely respect your guys' opinions, and just because you're not in the business doesn't mean you don't know about the business. And you're very smart about it, and you know what you're doing. And so does Matt, and so does Derek. And like, it doesn't bug me at all, man. Like, I'm fine with the media at this point. Like, I'm not gonna be like, these fucking kids don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Like, no, man. You guys are doing a great job, and you know what you're talking about. So
I appreciate that. And like for me, the closest I have ever had as far as experience in the wrestling business was doing a couple announcing seminars with Kevin Harvey, who used to be a manager at AEW, but now he does Rise, the other women promotion that's below Shimmer. You also have other projects as well. I've done announcing for that, and I've actually been behind the scenes of independent shows here in Chicago before the shows went live on air. So I have a little experience around the business. I never aspired to be a wrestler, so I'm not going to insult people's intelligence and tell you why this match sucked or why, Jinder Mahal botched his move at SummerSlam. I don't know about that shit. I never took a bump, and I'm not gonna act like I know what's botched and what's not botched. You know what I mean? So, like, I know where to separate myself. I think there's supposed to be a little respect line that has to be drawn between what your actual point of view is about this business, because a lot of you guys are sacrificing not only your bodies but your money and your overall life situations for this business. I think people just look at this from a outdated point of view, like, oh, these guys are making so much money. These guys are just going out there having fun and throwing their bodies around the ring. But it's a totally different thing. You guys are paying for your travel. You guys are paying for shit that you don't have the money for at the same time. Plus, at the same time, you got to make money to make ends meet, too. So you guys are doing multiple shows over the weekend. So I understand the grind that goes on for an independent wrestler out there. I a lot of people talk about paying their dues and stuff for like setting up chairs and taking the ring out and all that stuff. I understand that. From a broadcaster, I feel like I'm paying my dues. I'm not hired by a major network or anything like that. I've grinded for the past 3 to 4 years doing play-by-play articles and doing podcasts like this. This is my paying my dues. And I feel like the fun thing for me, and especially doing this show with you, is that I look at wrestling 1 week at a time. My opinion doesn't waver 1 week out of the year. You know what I mean? And the more I do this, the more I learn about the business. I may not be in the business or signed by a company right now, but I feel like at the end of the day, if I continue what I'm doing, I'll be able to be accepted in the business, I guess.
You will be, man. You just you got to keep on the grind and keep busting your ass, and you'll be fine. You know what you're doing. You know what you're talking about, man. Yeah, it's not a lot of guys do, Like,
right?
Shit. you got nothing to worry about, man. And like you were saying before, like I have a day job, I think a lot of indie guys do, and we're normal people. I mean, I know kayfabe. Everybody's like, oh, you got to keep kayfabe. First of all, kayfabe is fucking dead. Kayfabe's been fucking dead for a while. All right, so like, You know, when people would come up to me and be like, "Oh, you're Ronnie Starks," blah 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 blah, I'm like, "Hey," you know, and like some people would find me at my job and they're like, "Oh shit," and I'm like, "Oh fuck," like, well, you know where I work now. Let's keep that on the down low. Like, dude, I think my last 2 years in wrestling, I was making zero money. It was whatever I got went straight in my gas tank. So
Yeah.
like $20 a show, gas tank. Maybe I have some money left over for like fast food or something. But
Yeah.
like, there's no money in independent wrestling unless you're working for like Ring of Honor or like fuck, where else? Yeah, unless you're working for Ring of Honor or like.
Or that Wrestle Circus or no?
I might be.
Maybe.
I don't know. But like, you gotta look for those ones that were, you know, there's some kind of cash involved.
Yeah.
But if you're just traveling certain places, you're not gonna make anything. There's a dude that I know who just went to India, and he paid out of pocket for his flight,
Wow.
staying there, and wrestled in front of 50 people, dude. 50 fucking people in India. And I'm like, dude, like, you wasted your money.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to wrestle in front of 50 people, do it in Pittsburgh. Like,
it's crazy because you guys, like, you're making money. It's not like this world money, but you guys are making money, and still you have to make money to make the next town. You know what I mean? It's crazy, but we'll talk about that stuff a little later on as we go on here. But we are gonna get into this big weekend of wrestling that just went by for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn and SummerSlam. My fingers are sore. So if you see me not typing around or just chillaxing while this video, there's a reason why. Since Saturday night, I've done TakeOver, SummerSlam, Raw, SmackDown, and 205 Live. I've covered, let's see, 2.5, 8, 11, 15, 16 hours of wrestling in the last 3 days.
God.
No, 4 days. 16 hours in 4 days. And I'm not burned out or anything like that. This is the grind I'm talking about. This is the paid, the dues part I'm talking about. I've watched a lot of wrestling, and my viewing process is kind of different than most people because I have to stop the shit and make sure I get the moves right and all this stuff. I'm not watching the match and being on my phone like this the whole time. Well, let me see what Lance Storm was talking about in this match on Twitter and not actually paying attention to the show. You know what I mean? This tool right here is like the ultimate curse for any wrestling fan because you're watching the show and, okay, maybe I get it. Some shows may be good. Some shows may be bad. But still, if you're going to just watch a show just to bitch about it on this platform right here, you need to go the fuck home and stay the fuck home as far as I'm concerned. To the side, but before we get into SummerSlam, I want to start off with NXT. Ronnie, you are a big NXT fan. We've talked about this a lot when you were on the podcast before. What were your thoughts on this takeover? I have my thoughts about it, but I'd like to start off with you.
Man, I hope we agree on this, but what a great takeover that was, man. Jeez. The whole entire card was great. Even down to the tag match, you know, like, I'm not a big Authors of Pain fan, but holy crap, man, they really came into their own lately. That was just fantastic. The whole pay-per-view was amazing. I loved it so much. Johnny Gargano's match was great.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the card rundown? Do I have to look at the card?
I got it.
So I can't remember. Okay.
Yeah.
This is where you saved me from rambling on.
Oh, man. So we had Gargano and Almas first. Then it was Authors of Pain against Sanity. That was the second one. Aleister Black and Hideo Itami was 3. Asuka and Ember Moon was 4. And then obviously Rude and McIntyre was the main event.
I think, the tag match was good. Gargano's match was great. I wish he would have won, but I understand why he didn't. Because I think Almas hasn't won a match in, like, what, forever?
Yeah.
So, like, it's about time he picks up a win. I liked Hideo Itami versus Aleister Black. I thought it was good. good hard-hitting match. Some people thought that it was really slow, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Like, what do you know? But it was really good. The women's match was really good, and I'm really happy about Drew McIntyre winning the title. But most importantly, Adam Cole, baby! Like, dude, that is going to be such a great group of guys getting together and doing their thing. Like, it's going to be so good. The pay-per-view, oh, God. It was good. I'm happy about it. All right, good.
Over the years, I've somebody thrust a reputation to me is that I'm anti-NXT, and that's not true. I wouldn't cover this show this past Saturday if I'm indifferent to NXT. I wouldn't pay money out of my pocket for a late birthday gift that I bought for myself to go to NXT TakeOver Chicago a couple months ago and see Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate in person. I do like NXT. Here's my thing, though. Just like in anything in wrestling or in life, when people go out of their way and talk about how this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and if you have a different point of view on it, oh, you're an asshole, you're this or that. I'm sorry, I don't think that not every single NXT TakeOver is the greatest wrestling show of all time. I think some of the takeovers have been a miss. I didn't like San Antonio earlier this year. I thought the one in Orlando was and I went to that show. I went to that takeover. The best match in that show was DIY, Authors of Pain, and Revival. That was that three-way match they had WrestleMania weekend. The one in London, I didn't care for it. I thought it was boring. But just because I'm not hip with every single takeover means I hate NXT. I like NXT. I cover the shows weekly now on my website. You can check it out, ProWrestlingTranscriptions.com. You can bookmark that for those that haven't seen my articles for the first time. But as far as this takeover is concerned, I enjoyed it. I had a blast covering it. I have to give a shout out to Mauro Ranallo because not only is he a great broadcaster, but he's truly helped me out in this process of transcribing wrestling matches. I've learned more moves about wrestling since he came to the company than I have in my entire life. And I got to give big props to Mauro Ranallo because he's always on the spot with that type of shit. And I thought he did a great job. And I like Nigel McGuinness as a commentator, too. I think he does a great job on NXT. Other stuff that was not match-related, I make no bones about it, that I talk about this on the Pipe Bomb. I'm a big fan of Aleister Black. I think he could be the next big thing in wrestling. He's my favorite character right now in NXT. I love the entrance. The song just kicks royal ass. I want to learn that song so bad on the guitar. I have to. Seriously, I was quasi-marking out for the entrance he had at TakeOver with the band that was playing live. I thought that was really, really cool. And he's awesome. And just like you said, the match he had with Itami was very good. I'm a fan of Itami. I know some people soured on him because he started getting injury-prone and whatever, and they're butthurt because he's the one that created GTS. Get over it. Right? Shit. Oh, he's not CM Punk using the GTS. Shut up.
It's like he's been using the GTS longer than Punk ever did. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
And you and I are the biggest Punk marks, too. So,
right? Exactly.
Everybody needs to calm down.
Yeah, shit. But still, one of my favorite parts of the show was Asuka and Ember. I'll admit I wasn't that interested into the feud because I was watching the weekly programming and the promos they were cutting with each other were but I thought the match was very good. Ember is very, very talented, very talented performer. Asuka's Asuka. I mean, I already know there's a lot of people that put her over. I don't need to put her over. She's already over as it is. Yeah. She's freaking awesome. The way she floats over into that lock she does, the Asuka lock, is just awesome, and I love her matches, and she's awesome. It's really unfortunate to hear about the injury she suffered. She's going to be out for a while. That was the news that broke out over the weekend that Asuka did suffer injury during that TakeOver match. So our well wishes go out to Asuka from that end because it's just unfortunate. I felt really, really bad for her, and I'm a fan of her. And it's subtly, it would be either an injury or her surrendering the title for her to have her streak come to an end or her title reign end. You know what I mean, Ronnie?
Yeah. I mean, that sucks. That's the first I heard of it. I didn't do research on her getting hurt, but that sucks because she's really good. But I don't know. I mean, I don't understand if she got hurt. Why don't they just drop the title to Ember? But I understand why they didn't do it. And I guess her hitting over the title was probably the best way for her streak to end. That way, the streak is still intact, but she's no longer the champion.
Right.
So.
I will say it was kind of funny how they had the Freebird rule with Sanity in the authors of pay match. Like, oh, they kill you, then you're gonna get your spot. No. Switcheroo. I thought that was cool.
I saw somebody's comment about how Triple H is a hard-on for TNA guys. It's like, no, Triple H thinks good wrestlers, and Eric Young is a good wrestler.
Right?
Like, Eric Young deserves his spot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard-on for TNA guys. Maybe Austin Aries will still be in the company right now. Who knows?
Yeah, right?
Right? But other stuff on the show, like, I agree with you. I thought the Gargano Almas match was very good. That was a lot of fun to watch. Maybe Gargano be like the Sami Zayn of NXT, or he's the underdog of the promotion, no matter how long he's in there or whatever. But I think sooner or later it'd be good for them to add a mid-card title for NXT. I know that NXT will never be its own promotion, nor should it, because there's people that out there actually feel that NXT is its own company. It's not. Until I see those WWE logos off the turnbuckles and off the screen when I see these programming, NXT is not its own promotion. So stop the bullshit on that end. But still, like I would like to see a mid-card title, or at least whatever your main UK feud is at the time, have a UK title match for the takeovers if you're not going to have a mid-card title for the show, because I get it. They have a nice little nucleus that these takeovers are only 2.5 hours long or whatever, and only 5 matches, but I like to see a little more variety on these takeover shows.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, man. It's like you said earlier, the other TakeOver shows this year weren't that good, but this one was good. But they definitely need a mid-card title because they got plenty of guys on that roster now, and the growing process has begun for real this time because they even just signed Leo Rush.
Right.
So he's coming in. Danielle Fisher's favorite indie wrestler, apparently, was an article I saw on Facebook. So my childhood crush likes Leo Rush, so I guess I have to like Leo Rush too now. Dude, it's going to be stacked. I'm telling you right now, they're going to pick up all this great talent, and NXT is going to be good.
By the way, I was going to say this. Topanga, great waterfall. Go ahead, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Topanga. Sorry, I had to do it. Dude, I'm just excited for the future of WWE.
Right?
In general, because it's going to be good. So that's all I got to say about that.
Right. What do you think about the Aleister Black character or the song? Do you like the song like I do, or you have a different point of view on that?
No, I love it. I think it's great.
Right.
I liked him when he was Tommy End, and I like him as Aleister Black. He's a fantastic wrestler, and his character is great, and everything about him is money. I mean, you can literally hear the cha-ching of the cash.
Cha-ching!
Yeah. Like, they're going to make a lot of money off that guy. I'm telling you. It's going to be great. Hopefully, before Undertaker retires, we'll get Aleister Black versus The Undertaker.
Oh, man. You know how much of a Taker guy I am besides Punk, and I would love to see Black versus Undertaker. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. That's money right there, man. That's WrestleMania implications. Just go ahead and take my money. I'll be there for WrestleMania.
Oh, man. Well, cool thing for you, you're actually able to be front row for the SmackDown Live after WrestleMania this year. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, dude, that was great. My buddy Michael, he got us those tickets for ringside, and it was great. They surprised me. If you watched his podcast, or no, if you watched his vlog, they did a thing where like they were talking about how they were going to surprise me with these ringside seats, because I had never sat ringside at a WWE show before, because I'm a cheap piece of shit and I don't want to spend ridiculous amount of money to sit ringside at a WWE show where I spend $30 to sit up in the freaking nosebleed sections and see fine. And they surprised me with these tickets, and it was really nice of them to do that. And dude, it was great. And for 205 Live, like I literally went from second row to first row. And if you watch 205 Live, you're just gonna see me in my penguin hat the entire freaking show. Like it was great, man. I had such a great time.
Yeah, well, I want to bring this up really quick because I'll talk about this another time on the podcast. But maybe it's just me, but I feel like 205 is underappreciated. I think we've talked about this before on this when you're on here with me. These cruiserweight guys get no respect for these main roster crowds, none. And this is the type of wrestling they want. Now I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. It's kind of hard to advertise a cruiserweight style show when you already have guys like Seth Rollins and AJ Styles and Kevin Owens who do the same moves that the guys from 205 Live do. But still, like Monday, they have a badass 8-man tag team match with Metalik and Alexander and all these other guys in the match. And motherfuckers are playing with beach balls. Like,
yeah.
The cruiserweights are very underappreciated. Maybe it would have a different tune if it was on the NXT takeovers or whatever, but I don't get it, man. I don't.
Wrestling fans are just a different breed of. Jesus Christ! All right,
Here we go.
Let me try to phrase. Disrespectful little fuckers, man. You know, you knew this was coming because you had to bring it up, and now I'm just like, all right. Here's the thing: you're getting cruiserweight action. I love the cruiserweights. I know you love the cruiserweights, and they are underappreciated because the WWE fan base are so biased with the dumbest fucking shit. Like, you could give them R-Truth and be like, oh, what's up? And then like, then they'll give them other dumb, stupid shit that shouldn't make any sense. But then you're like, okay, here's a cruiserweight match. And they're like, oh, we really don't want to watch this flippy stuff, and we don't want an entertaining match. We just want something fucking stupid because we're brainwashed little shits and we don't know what we're really like. And then it's stupid because you know how disrespectful they are during the thing. And then like, and I'm sorry to tell you, but you know, I don't give a shit about the CM Punk chance anymore because he's not coming back.
Right.
If you're lucky, he's going to go to New Japan and be a part of the Bullet Club. If you're lucky. All right? But, you know, it's just, these fucking people just, they have no respect for good wrestling. They only want to like the dumb shit that's programmed in their brains. I'm not saying it's all dumb shit, because sometimes I like the dumb shit too. Like, I love Fandango and Tyler Breeze.
They're awesome.
Fashion Police are the greatest part of SmackDown. But,
I love Aiden English.
People... I love Aiden English too. I really do. And speaking of we'll get to that when we start talking about SmackDown. But it just, these fans just piss me off so bad because I'll be sitting there watching this. I'm like, yes, cruiserweight action, and then I'll just start chanting dumb shit, and then those stupid freaking beach balls, stupid freaking beach balls, and it's just dumb, dude. Because like, who let the beach balls in? Like, everybody who goes into these events, because you know the WrestleMania and the SummerSlam crowds, they're mixed crowds, right?
Yeah.
These are the people who are traveling from everywhere, are going to go to WrestleMania, and everybody's going to travel from everywhere to go to SummerSlam. It's just not people from New York City who are at SummerSlam. This is everybody. These are people from London. These are people from Chicago. These are people from California. These are people from Philadelphia that nobody gives a shit about. These are from people all over the place, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you go, and these people are just, you put all these egos, and wrestling fans have egos, let's be honest, because they can't get over themselves.
Yeah.
And You threw them all together, and everybody's like, oh, this is a great idea. I'm going to join in too. And then they get really fucking annoying. And the crowd was really fucking annoying this weekend. And they took away a lot of good stuff from wrestlers by being assholes about the beach balls and their dumb chants and just being stupid. And they think they're so awesome. But, hey, you're not awesome, guys. You're a bunch of fucking assholes. And just enjoy wrestling and don't be a prick and take away from the people who are trying to entertain you in the ring. You're not entertaining them. They're entertaining you. You know, WWE isn't paying you to be douchebags. WWE is paying them to entertain you. So get the fuck over yourselves. Take those beach balls, shove it up your asses, inflate them, and feel free to blow yourselves up.
Oh man!
All right, I'm good. I'm all right.
You good? You good?
I'm good.
All right. This is what I have to say about this before we go to SummerSlam, because this stuff bothers me a lot. Just like what Ronnie said, respect the talent. Secondly, for the love of God, stop bringing these big four shows to the East Coast, because this is where the Nimrod shit starts. Yeah, we really need the Royal Rumble in Philly again, so we can redo the same thing we did 3 years ago. No, and I get it. People, I know what everybody say. Oh, you're just saying that because you're from Chicago. Yeah, I'm from Chicago, and yeah, we may be annoying with CM Punk chants, but besides that, we don't try to get ourselves over. We actually like to enjoy the show for what it is. The only bad part about my city is the fucking CM Punk chants. That's it. That's it. We're not Brooklyn. We're not Pittsburgh. No offense. We're not Philly. We're not Boston, and we're sure as hell not LA either. But still, I don't get why every single SummerSlam and Rumble and all this other shit has to be either in the East or West Coast. God damn, man. And really, we're gonna have SummerSlam again in Brooklyn next year. So we have another round of fucking beach balls being spread around the freaking Barclays Center for 4 days. We'd rather have people play fucking volleyball in the crowd than pay attention to a Finn Balor Jason Jordan match that was actually good on Raw this week. We would rather play fucking volleyball instead of actually paying attention to Roman Reigns and John Cena being tag team partners for the first time against Miz and Samoa Joe, which was also a good match.
Yeah.
The fucking Nimrods. It annoys the shit out of me. I feel the Brooklyn crowd is so overrated, and everybody's like, oh, but come on, Josh, so do you see the reactions they give for NXT TakeOver Brooklyn? Okay, one show out of one out of 3 shows where the crowd is not acting like fucking douchebags, it's not acceptable for me. Okay, we get it. NXT's the cool underground show, and yeah, it gets all the nice smart marks get a hard on for NXT, and this is their favorite thing since sliced bread, so they'll go to NXT and behave. But just because the main roster show, we like to disrespect everybody else that's busting their ass, that's doing more events than the people in NXT, and people who spend more time on the road than people in NXT. It's fucking bullshit. I don't get the disrespect the main roster gets every fucking Big Four show. That's what bothers me the most during these weekends. I love NXT. The shows are awesome. McIntyre and Rude was a great match. Awesome to see Adam Cole and Red Dragon in NXT. No problem with that. The show kicked ass on Saturday. But we'll go on Sunday, and I'm seeing on social media the entire time before the show's on there, the main roster better be scared. The main roster better bring it today. NXT has the main roster on their heels and all this other bullshit. And it pisses me off. Because it's not only in the social media world, but it's the fucking crowd too. We'll disrespect all the other main roster talent because it's not NXT. But we're more focused about fucking beach balls and getting ourselves over with our stupid ass chants and fucking soliloquies. And we'll take interviews from Sports Illustrated about, this is why I hate Roman Reigns. I hate Roman Reigns because Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio that he's gonna get the main push for WrestleMania next year. Did you see that video that came out the other day?
Yeah, I did.
A fucking bunch of Nimrods that don't have an original thought as to why they hate the guy in the first place. It pisses me off.
First of all, man, if David Meltzer says it, you know it's true.
Right?
So, can you tell my sarcasm right there?
Right.
Yeah, you know it's true, and wrestling fans are gonna be like, it's gonna happen. Like, no, it's not gonna happen. So, like, calm down, you stupid little shitheads.
I just don't get it, man. Like, you would want the company just to have a good weekend in general. Why do we have to make a competition out of this? NXT is not WCW. I'm sorry to break it to everybody. NXT will never be WCW or ECW. It's not going to happen unless WWE is not associated with NXT. NXT is still part of the WWE. So you can crap on the main roster all you want, but you're still putting the WWE brand over at the end of the day. That's what you Nimrods don't realize. And I don't care what anybody says. I thought NXT TakeOver Brooklyn was good, but I thought SummerSlam was just as good as Brooklyn too. So I don't care what anybody says.
I'm with you. I 100% agree. Are you okay now? Are you all right? You got that in your system?
Yeah.
Your rant was about 1,000 times better than mine. That was fantastic.
Yeah. Let's have another freaking SummerSlam in Brooklyn where everybody gets themselves over again. This is freaking ridiculous, man. I don't get it.
I'm not going. I'm not driving out to New York again for that. Like, I don't even know if I'm going to the Royal Rumble, to be perfectly honest. I don't even think I want to.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, a lot of these media guys will point to those crowds and be like, that's the real gauge of what the audience wants. No, that's not what the audience wants. Don't give me that. Don't give me that bullshit. Like,
it's like, I know what I want to see. Don't tell me what I want to see.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about this? Like, we go through NXT, and I get it. SummerSlam's a launch show. They expanded the length of it over the years. It wasn't as long as last year's SummerSlam was. Last year, I looked back on the network. Last year's SummerSlam was 5 hours, the main show. This was 4. They actually lowered the hour and stick to the time. There was no overrun for this year's SummerSlam, and they actually fit in 13 matches in that time period. I don't know how they did it, but
can you imagine? Here's the thing, because I was there.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how much of a struggle it was to sit there that long to watch SummerSlam live like that? Like, holy shit.
So
by the time that weekend was over.
Go ahead.
Good. You're good.
No, I was gonna ask, did you go to SummerSlam this weekend?
No, last year.
Okay. Yeah. I remember.
And by the time that weekend was over, dude, we were just drained.
Right?
I remember when Raw was on, and like as soon as Bayley came out, made her main roster debut, I looked at my friends. I said, "You want to leave?" They're like, "Yep." And we left halfway through Raw after Bayley debuted. And then we went to Buffalo Wild Wings. Like we were just drained, dude. We were just dead.
Oh man. Yeah, this part where you fade away and classify yourself as obsolete.
Oh yeah, dude, we ran out that door. Like we were done.
Zoom. I didn't tell you this, Ronnie, but after WrestleMania this year, I stood because I wanted to see Taker's like farewell and stuff. You knew that Taker was my guy, so I'll admit I did get kind of emotional during the end of WrestleMania this year. This is how the whole thing with taking his hat off and all the symbolism with that. What's interesting was that after the fact, the show's like, obviously that whole area by Camping World Stadium is a fucking shithole.
Oh yeah.
I've seen high school football stadiums that is a cleaner environment than Camping World Stadium. I'll just throw that out there. They got the shitty ass pond with a crappy ass park right next to it. The roads are god awful, and there was no way in hell I was able to get an Uber back to my hotel. That was a no shot. That was a no shot. I literally, my hotel was literally like 5-10 minutes away from the Amway Center. So I decided to walk from the stadium back to my hotel after WrestleMania was over.
The fact that you walked in such a shitty area, like
at that time,
you understand. Yeah, you understand that that's a dangerous part of Orlando, right? Like, did anybody tell you that? Like, that was like a really dangerous part of Orlando. Like, you're literally walking through the ghetto where like bad shit happens. But with all those people, because I'm sure you're not the only person who's walking back to their hotel after WrestleMania. So like nothing's gonna happen if you're not alone walking. But like it was a bad area, dude. We when we got our Uber, we called an Uber driver, but he couldn't get into the arena because everybody was leaving, so there was no way in.
Yeah.
So we had to walk to this gas station where there was like 100 people waiting for their Ubers at that gas station. And we were there for like an hour just waiting to leave. Like,
that's crazy.
It was ridiculous.
But
yeah, Camping World Stadium is a piece of shit.
It's a dump.
And that whole area around it.
It's a dump. And
they need to not have WrestleMania in Orlando anymore.
Yeah. Right? Shit. You know, it's just crazy because I was actually walking in the back of that soccer stadium that's down the road from the Camping World. So, you know, I'm talking about the one that's like a couple blocks from the Amway Center. So I was walking behind it. So I was in the alley and shit.
You idiot.
And it was the longest walk I had in my life, but
yeah,
it was worth it. I'll say that was an interesting life experience for a 22-year-old at the time to experience.
Did you fear for your life at all at one point?
I kind of did when I went behind the soccer stadium.
Dude, congratulations on surviving that.
Right? Oh, man. That was insane. For those that didn't know, I actually finally got to hang out with Ronnie in person at Raw the next night. It wasn't long, but I did get to meet Ronnie. I was kind of surprised how much taller I was to him at that point, but still.
You towered over me, dude. I was like, oh, shit. And like, hey, I'm not gonna lie, I had a few drinks in my system. When you took that picture of me, like it looked like I was like completely gone, and I was just like, oh god.
You know, I did think I think that pic was apropos for the moment, though.
Yeah, you're like, you just like grabbed your camera and took a pic. I'm like, okay. But yeah, dude, it was nice meeting you in person. I didn't realize you were that much taller than me. So now you know that I'm really like 5'5". So it's out there now, man.
Yeah, you're probably like, damn it, this young, tall motherfucker.
It's like, I can't believe this shit. What the fuck?
Hey, if I need a bodyguard, I got my guy right here.
You're hired, man. Jesus.
You're hired. Oh, shit. All right, let's get to SummerSlam, right? So we talked about TakeOver. We went over the Nimrods. We had some shenanigans out of that one, too. Let's talk about SummerSlam. I told people this on the way. Nobody's requiring you to sit down at a certain time anymore for wrestling shows. I don't care what company it is. You're not required in 2017 to sit down at a specific time to watch a show. I feel that's one of the most outdated things in life and entertainment today. Oh, I need to sit down at this certain time to watch The Walking Dead. I need to sit down at this certain time to watch Game of Thrones. Like, for me, I feel like people talk about these shows being too long, but that's your fault. You decided to watch the pre-show. I watched the pre-show because I have a job to do, and I covered the pre-show. But nobody's forced you to sit through a 2-hour pre-show. So when people talk about, oh, SummerSlam 6 hours, well, you decided to sit through 6 hours. You could have had 4 hours, but that's on you. I have no sympathy for you guys. You decided to watch the pre-show? All right, you deal with the 6 hours that are ahead of that. Now, I do want to say this, though. I want to give shout out to Neville and Cesaro because they had a great match on the kickoff show. And also New Day and the Usos absolutely destroyed each other on that kickoff show. Like, maybe it's just me, but I feel like Usos and New Day have been one of the best tag team rivalries in the last 3 to 4 years.
Oh, I agree with you. Absolutely. Dude, the Usos are so good. And the New Day are good in their own right, too. And you put those two teams together and you get what that was, just magic. The match was magic. So
Matt Hardy magic?
It was magical, yes.
Marioso, yeah. Oh, man.
I'm guilty of watching the pre-show. Well, I'm guilty of watching the second hour of the pre-show. I didn't turn on the first hour. Mm-hmm. I turned on the second hour.
So, but
SummerSlam weekend, you got to watch it. You know,
you have to. But I think it's like all these people talk about, oh, WrestleMania is too long. Well, hey, nobody's telling you to sit through this at a certain time. You don't want to watch the pre-show? Watch it the next day. Mm. I mean, there's a lot of people that rewatch these pay-per-views the day after it airs, right? So, I mean, I think Adam taught me this a lot when he used to be on the podcast. Like, at the end of the day, I'm going to watch something when I'm in the right mood for it. How can I take the most positive out of a viewing experience when I'm not in the mood to watch something or something's bothering me at that moment? Let's say I'm coming out of work, right? Out of Monday, right? And I'm stressed out, and I had that lame case of the Monday's bullshit. Oh, I feel sorry for me because I came back from work over the weekend. I'm burnt out on Monday, right? And I don't want to sit through Raw. Well, that's on you, buddy, because you didn't have to sit down at 7 right on the dot and watch it live. You could have calmed down. You could have got yourself some food, maybe score some waterfall in the process, get a calm down period, and then watch Raw. I think in 2017 you are allowed to watch something when you want to watch it. Now I'm in a different position. I'm covering this show live, so I've had to learn the art of having patience. It's not easy. I know a lot of people in this world that don't have patience, especially when it comes to wrestling. But with what I do with these articles, it's not easy. Because I have to stop these matches as it's going. I'm not sitting there as the match is going on and going on my fucking phone and talking to everybody while the match is going on. I have a totally different way of looking at this than other people. But Ronnie, what did you think about the matches you did see on the kickoff show?
I didn't watch the first match when everything was completely empty, which was just really awkward, apparently.
Yeah.
But
good job, Barclays.
Yeah, way to not let everybody in. Idiots. Okay, let me just say the Barclays Center is a piece of shit. Okay? Let me start off by saying that.
That's awesome.
I'm sure they ran out of food again on day 2, like they did last time. Which is ridiculous. But yeah. So fuck. What was I gonna say? Oh, matches. All right. Yeah. So the cruiserweight match was really good. Mm-hmm. I think we all knew that Neville was going to win the title back.
Right.
And then the tag title match was amazing. I absolutely loved it. I love the New Day. I love the Usos. You put them together. We said it's magic. Pretty matches were good.
What do you think about the day one-ish stuff? Because I know you weren't all on the Usos back in the day when I first met you. Yeah. What do you think about this change with the day one-ish stuff and the whole rap battles they've been doing with New Day?
The rap battle was the funniest thing.
Right?
I like it. I like their new character. I like what they're doing. Heel Usos are definitely better than face Usos. Because face Usos were just terrible, and it wasn't working for them. But they're fine now, man. They're probably the best tag team in WWE right now. Usos
are just killing it right now. I love their timing. Especially when it comes to like near falls and stuff. I love the little tequila sunrise move they do. I think that's pretty cool. I am an Eagles fan, so the fact they have a move called tequila sunrise, I think that's pretty badass. Yeah, Usos and New Day kill it. There's no problem with the Usos and New Day. I don't know if we could go match by match for the rest of the show, but just in general, what did you think about the main portion of SummerSlam?
I thought it was good, man. I had no complaints about SummerSlam at all. A lot of people thought that the Fatal 4-Way match was a clusterfuck, but I didn't think it was. I think it was everything it was supposed to be. You know, like, and I was reading about it, like, oh, it was terrible. It's like, what was terrible about it? There was nothing terrible. Yeah, I thought it was good.
Oh,
and
God.
I thought the Jinder Mahal and Shinsuke Nakamura match set its purpose.
Yeah.
It was good for what it was. You know, I had no problem with it. We all know Shinsuke Nakamura is going to get the WWE title eventually. So I thought it was going to happen at SummerSlam. I was disappointed, but it is what it is. I didn't think John Cena needed to beat Baron Corbin. I didn't think there was any need for it, but it was. Thank God Naomi lost the women's title. Thank God, because I mean, I hate to say it, but she was making a mockery of that title just because of like all the neon lights and stuff she was putting on it. It looked stupid. It looked freaking dumb. And she's a good wrestler, yeah, but it wasn't working. And Natalya deserves it, so good for Natalya. What else was there? Oh, the other women's match. Alexa Bliss should have retained.
I agree.
But that's just my opinion. Dude, I love her, man. Yeah. That ass, though. Like, God damn it.
Yep.
She's hot.
You ain't lying about that. What about the Demon and Bray?
Oh, it was good. It was very good. They both brought it. The match was great. Dude, I love Finn. You know I love Finn. And yes. I love Bray, too. So it was fantastic. I loved it. I, honestly, God, man, love SummerSlam. I thought, what's funny is because I was talking to my one friend about it. Because when we went last year, SummerSlam sucked. Raw sucked. NXT sucked. So we were like, all right, that's 3 days of wrestling that wasn't good. And then when this week it came and it was the best shows, everything back to back, she texted me. She's like, we should have went to SummerSlam. And I was like, yep. But it was fun, man. It was a good time, and I enjoyed it, dude. It was a good weekend of wrestling. Like I tweeted it the other day. It was a very good weekend of wrestling. So, did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy watching?
Yeah, the thing for me is, and I've said this before already, like when I'm covering these shows live, I have to take my fan perspective out of it. And I get into full tunnel vision mode when I'm covering these shows live. I do. It's to my fault at times because I would like to express my marking out moments or whatever when I'm watching these shows live. Like it's like the only time like I get to be a fan is when I'm actually going to these shows live. But besides that, it's just typing the whole time. I told a friend of mine, Raj, you can follow me on Twitter at KingHR on Twitter, that it took me 10 hours to finish my SummerSlam article on Sunday with all the editing and setting up the article and stuff. So it took me 10 hours to do SummerSlam on Sunday.
God.
Right?
Dude, that's rough, man.
Yeah. I rewatched the show on yesterday morning to gain a different perspective about it before we were going to do this today, and I enjoyed it just as much as I did when I was covering the show live. I thought it was very good. For me, I just found it interesting that people were trying to find reasons to bitch about every match that was going on in the show. Did you see that? Like, there's always something about typical Vince booking and right? I'll agree with you. John Cena didn't need to beat Baron Corbin, but again, it's just one of those things. Like, whatever. By the way, let me say this: if people really think that feuding with Dave Meltzer on Twitter gives you backstage heat, you're a fucking moron. I'm not even the business. I can tell that's bullshit. People actually think that Corbin has backstage heat because he was feuding with Meltzer on Twitter. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's just fucking stupid.
There's other reasons why he has heat. That is definitely not one of them. So people like to think the dumb shit too, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, that's what's happening." And like, no, that's not it. Stop pretending, everybody. You don't know everything.
Also, just because somebody loses on pay-per-view doesn't mean they have backstage heat. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't feel like just because somebody loses on pay-per-view that they should have won, that means they have heat. But that's my opinion. I felt bad that we didn't get the actual Orton and Rusev match because I thought that was going to be good. But it's probably been one of those things where people are just sitting on their hands. Who knows? Maybe beach balls would be tossing around the arena during the Orton Rusev match. Who knows? so I'm glad they did what they had to do instead of being stuck in the middle and people not caring about the match. Because honestly, I think Orton and Rusev can have a very good match. We'll see if they fight at the next SmackDown pay-per-view, but I think Orton and Rusev will do a good job.
Rusev is so good, man, and just the way he gets treated, he needs to leave WWE. Like, he needs to go work somewhere else and find himself and do his thing. But that's my opinion about it, because like it just drives me crazy. Like, they should be doing so much more with him, and they're not.
Mm-hmm. So, hopefully we'll see what he has in store in the fall. We'll see what happens. Other stuff in the show that I liked, I agree with you. I thought both women's matches were good. I'm happy that Natalya won. She totally deserves it. This will obviously be her last swan as the top woman in the division before she retires. And she deserves it. And I thought she had a good match with Naomi. I agree with you. I think Alexa should retain at SummerSlam. I didn't think Sasha needed it, but Sasha has a flock of fans who think that unless she's the champion 24/7, she's being underbooked or being buried. So I get it. Sasha's a draw. She brings in money and all this stuff, and she affects rates and all that stuff. But just from a performance and enjoyment point of view, I think Alexa Bliss is a little ahead of Sasha from a character standpoint. We can have our arguments about whether she's better than Sasha in the ring. That's subjective. I think in-ring performance is dictated by how you present yourself as a character. You could do spots, but does that make sense to the story that you're supposed to tell in the ring or as a character? I don't know. Maybe that's something people should think about. Just because Sasha can do moves like Seth Rollins and Eddie Guerrero doesn't mean that her matches make sense most of the time. You know what I mean? I like Sasha. She's a good performer. You said Alexa's hot. I agree. Sasha's hot too. So I got a double dose of hotness. But still, regardless, I thought Alexa and Sasha had a very good match. And by the way, that little vignette they had for Alexa for the No Mercy pay-per-view, that commercial, that was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was badass. But yeah, I agree. Alexa should have retained. I loved the Rollins Ambrose Sheamus Cesaro match. That may be my favorite match of the show besides the 4-way. That match was just fucking awesome, man. Like, give me those two, Rollins and Ambrose and the Hardys in the 3-way, and I won't say anything else. Just do that match. You'll get my money. Just do it now. I don't care what it is. 3 stages of hell, TLC, it doesn't matter. Just let me see those 3 tag teams go against each other. What other stuff on the show? I thought AJ and Kevin did a good job. I thought they did their purpose, and Shane wasn't too overbearing in the match. He played his role right. And one thing I appreciate about this pay-per-view was that there wasn't so much shenanigans where you had multiple DQs or countouts or all this other bullshit. You know what I mean? There were clean finishes. They had reasons for why feuds continued, like Jinder and Nakamura. People don't point that stuff out, but like I all this stuff with Jinder is it just shows the lack of what's the word? the lack of openness that fans have in wrestling today. Like, we go on soapbox about how this performance deserves this and other people on the roster deserve opportunities and stuff, but I feel like with the people that are bashing Jinder Mahal, they're a bunch of hypocrites. They're a bunch of hypocrites. You'll say that Sami Zayn and all these other guys deserve opportunities because they're a part of the Indies. No, there's no problem with the Indies, but still, you have a guy who got fired, changed his life, changed his body, and just because he's not doing 630 planchas to the outside, and he actually has a fucking character that has heat, you're offended by that. You're appalled that a guy that doesn't have the greatest win-loss record is the WWE champion. I was there at Backlash when Jinder Mahal beat Randy Orton at Backlash and won the title. I marked out. I was happy for the guy. I was. Now, maybe a little part of me was the fact that I didn't want to see Randy Orton as the champion anymore, but still, I wanted Jinder to succeed. Me and you and Adam and other Jinder fans have a different point of view when it comes to those type of characters. I'm all for heat. But you're a trolling heel, a regular heel, or a heel that just doesn't give a shit and just says whatever's on his mind, like you would, Ronnie, at any of these promotions. I love heels. I love heat. And the fact that Jinder Mahal continues to get these people pissed off and they think that this is horrible booking, you're getting worked. He's doing his job. The more and more you guys get pissed off about Jinder, the better he gets. And maybe he doesn't need to Singh Brothers to interfere in every single match and have the same finish. But still, I think Jinder Mahal is highly underappreciated for the fact that he is a heel and he gets better with every pay-per-view that he gets. We talked about this before we came on air. Yes, the Punjabi prison match sucked. It didn't need to happen. I could call a spade. But don't tell me that this guy hasn't approved or doesn't deserve the opportunities he gets. Don't tell me that.
Yeah, he's great. That's all I have to say about it. Like, people need to understand he's a great wrestler, and the character's great. So just accept it. He's a good WWE champion.
All right, last thing for SummerSlam, the 4-way. I gotta get your thoughts on this, man.
Dude, I liked it, man. I mean, like I told you, people thought it was a clusterfuck, but I thought it was good. I thought it was hard hitting for everybody, and the right person got pinned. So that's all that matters to me.
This may be my top Raw match of the year, like pay-per-view match for the Raw brand this year. These guys just killed each other, man. All the guys hit their spots at the right time. Like Reigns was hitting Strowman with the ring steps, right? And then Joe came out of nowhere with the suicide dive. I thought that was cool. And then out of nowhere, Braun just throws Samoa Joe like a pet doll for the table, like nothing. I'm not finished with you. And by the way, for everybody
it was so good.
For everybody that loves to call Roman Reigns John Cena 2.0, who's the one that took the clean pinfall at the end of the match on Sunday? I rest my case. That match was awesome. I do have my feelings about Brock Lesnar, and I feel like he should go the fuck home and stay the fuck home. I think that WWE can succeed without Brock Lesnar. That's always been my point about it. I get it that he appeals to certain people and all this other stuff, but when you're more focused about having a match with a guy who can't decide whether he wants to be on steroids or not, I'm talking about you, John Jones. You just need to go home. It's just freaking ridiculous, man. But regardless, Brock is still the Universal Champion, and that match just that was awesome. That match was off the charts. But overall, we both enjoyed SummerSlam. Before we let Ronnie head off for this week, anything else from Raw or SmackDown that caught your attention?
Nothing really, man. Bobby Roode's on SmackDown, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Glorious.
Hopefully they'll make, dude. Hopefully he'll be like U.S. champion. I really hope he's the one who beats AJ Styles for the title.
That'd be cool.
But yeah.
Rude and AJ Styles at Survivor Series, right?
Please. Shut up and take my money. I'll watch it.
Shelton Benjamin's back. He's gonna be Chad Gable's new tag team partner, which is cool.
So are they going to be the America's World's Greatest Tag Team? Is that what they're going to be?
Maybe, right? Shit. Yeah, I can see that happening. Also, the stuff was going on with Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens. They're going to fight in Hell in a Cell.
Oh yeah,
that's happening.
in the Hell in a Cell.
It's in the Hell in a Cell. Yep. Right. Mm-hmm. And then I think sooner or later Nakamura will get his opportunity with the title, and we'll see where we go from there. But I thought Raw was good too, besides the fucking beach ball nonsense that was going on. We found out that
started.
Yeah, I won't. Maybe not yet. We found out that Braun Strowman will indeed fight Brock Lesnar in LA for No Mercy. That's set. That's gonna be fucking awesome. And yeah, next week Raw is heading to this dirty South. They're going to be in Memphis, Tennessee, and then SmackDown will be in one of those racist cities, Little Rock, Arkansas. So you want to see Heat? You'll see Jinder Mahal's reaction in Little Rock, Arkansas.
I hope the Westboro Baptist Church shows up.
Oh my god!
With picket signs and like complains about the show.
How you promote God is called the Maharaja. Oh God, man. Yeah, there's a lot of fucked up people in this country, man. I'm just gonna say. The game.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah. But regardless, man, it was a fun SummerSlam and NXT TakeOver weekend. Adam Cole and Red Dragon are now a group now. And I found out that they're actually taping new episodes of NXT tonight, which is crazy. So I know everybody that loves their spoilers will be all ready to go for that later on tonight, but that's not me. But besides that, NXT's looking good. I'm looking forward to No Mercy. That's going to be the next pay-per-view for the Raw brand. I don't know if SmackDown's doing a pay-per-view in September. If not, there'll be Hell in a Cell in October. But besides that, man, we're going to wrap it up here. Ronnie, I want to thank you so much, buddy, for coming on and shooting this shit with me. I wanted to let you take some time and talk about this new project that you're going to be starting in October.
All right. Well, thanks for having me, buddy. We should definitely do this again soon. I think it's been too long, and this should be the beginning of stuff we should do more often.
Right?
But in October, my buddy James and we are starting a YouTube channel. We are Steel City Occult. We are going to be doing a lot of traveling. We're starting out at Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. And then we're going to go to like abandoned places and stuff. And we're going to do podcasts, talking about horror movies and wrestling and like stuff like that. And it's going to be a good time. Hopefully it's going to be a good following. Hopefully people like it. If not, hey, we fucking tried. But it works out. That's cool too.
Mm.
But yeah, we're excited about it. And then I'm doing a show this Sunday in Weirton, West Virginia, for Black Diamond Wrestling. And that's pretty much it in my world, man. So, you guys can follow me on Twitter at SCStarks. And if you want to follow, we have a Twitter account for our YouTube channel. It's at Steel City Occult. So you can follow us there too, and we'll give you updates on what we're going to do and when the videos are coming up. So
I know that the Bears are playing the Steelers this season. That's going to be very interesting between these parts. Maybe we can do like a Facebook profile bet or something. But yeah, Ron, I want to thank you for coming on, buddy. It was a lot of fun, as always.
Yeah, thank you, man. We'll definitely do it again.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Ronnie Starks. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at SC Starks. Check him out. Black Diamond Wrestling's anniversary event this weekend out in West Virginia. And also, coming up next, right here on the Josh Lopez Wrestling Podcast, you're going to check out the Yon Club audio moment of the week. We're out, bitches. Peace.